All right, hello again, everybody. This is Ryan at Turnkey Trading, and I'm going to be providing a list and some analysis on some stocks for this week. Stocks that we can probably enter into tomorrow, Monday, and hold for a few days. Okay. Toward the end of this video, and probably throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about some longer-term holds that I'm personally doing for my IRA, positions that I'm holding for 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks. I'm definitely doing the January 19th expiration, but I think this week I'm going to be looking at the February 16th as well. Okay, so we'll talk about that in this video. So let's get started. The first stock is INTC, Intel Corporation. This has just been a very bullish stock for a long time. We've got these two buy markers here. We're well above these moving averages. We've got blue congruency pointing upward all the way down. And what I like about this one also is the weekly. We've got blue pointing upward all the way down. Just strong bullish indication. We've got commitment, we have conviction. Intel is probably going to be a big stock next year. I'm starting to read some opinions on it, estimates for next year. So I see this playing out already. So this is good to get into, at least for a few days, if not a couple of months. The next one I'm going to look at is NXPI, another semiconductor. Look at this bullish action, okay? Well above the moving averages. We've got all these buy markers on here. Occasionally we'll get a sell marker that'll come in and it'll push it down on some wick, but it won't stick. And if we look at down here, we've got blue congruency. We've got these indicators are pointing up. I mean, again, it's just another super strong bullish stock. And if we look at the weekly, we got the buy that came out just 2 weeks ago. And we've got strong upward direction and blue congruency all the way down on the weekly. So this is another one that I'll probably consider for a long-term play as well. Yeah, I think you could get into it this week, but it's also one I'm going to be looking at for longer term, meaning 6-8 weeks. Next one is UPST, Upstart, strong bullish direction. We've got congruency all the way down with blue, with lines pointing upward. It's just another strong bullish stock. And if you look at the weekly, same thing, solid direction going up, blue, congruency, indicators pointing upward. UPST definitely needs to be on your list. In other words, what's nice about this type of analysis is there's low probability that it's just going to turn and just dump on you. Okay, not with this type of bullish indication. And when you have all these indicators that are looking at money flow, looking at volume, looking at all the different things that these things are indicating, the trend is likely to continue. Okay, so this is another one I'll consider for a 6-8 week hold as well. Now, when we move into financials, I'm going to start with KRE. This is a lot of the mid-cap, mid-size financials, regionals around the country that you might find in the Russell Index. Okay, so it's been very strong for a while. We've got blue congruency all the way down. Only thing is that I'm seeing right now a little bit of, let me move this out a little bit of flatness right here. And it looks like those lines might even be crossing here, a little bit of flatness here. So it might run into a soft patch for a few days. Okay, I do like this one. Keep an eye on it. Look at the weekly here. It's just been solid up. So this is telling me that we will probably be good for a January, February expiration, another long-term stock. Okay, I do like the KRE, and I'll take a look at some individual banks, starting with Charles Schwab, SCHW. It's been very bullish for a very long time, since October. Okay, but I guess that's true for most stocks. But it's had very solid direction upward. We've got blue congruency all the way down. This doesn't look like one that's just going to roll over on us. Looking at the weekly here, same thing. Very solid. This is a strong wind at your back. So even if you run into if you get into this, you run into a soft patch for 3 or 4 days, take a look at the weekly and rest assured that this is probably going to get moving again. Okay. I will probably include this in my IRA holdings as well. Another stock is Morgan Stanley. Look at this bullish direction. Okay. Just blew upward direction all the way down. Okay, everything. Volume, money flow, stochastics, RSI, TSI, OBV. I mean, I've got it all. And MACD even. Look at the MACD here. Okay, so very solid direction with Morgan Stanley. And if you look at the weekly, same thing. Nice peak above these moving averages. This thing's moving. And really, any stock right now that is sensitive to interest rates, such as financials, I'm going to show you some examples in real estate, mortgages, even the biotech is doing really well. Okay, so these are just some examples of financials. Now, another sector that is hot right now, pun intended, is solar. I don't know why, but it's also sensitive to interest rate changes. Okay. So we've had big bullish direction. We just recently got both of these buy indicators on the same day show up in SEDG. This is SEDG. Okay, this is a big one. It's got a lot of options. And if we look down here, we'll see blue congruency. Everything's pointing upward. If we look at the weekly, it's early. You're not going to see much. But what am I starting to see here? Right? Money flow. Pointing up. We've got this one here, TSI pointing up, RSI and TSI pointing up. We just have everything. Okay, we're starting to, it's early on the weekly. Now on the daily, it's crystal clear, but it's early on the weekly. So if you're going to get into the daily, you might want to, consider holding this for a little while because it looks like the wind is at our back now. That could carry sedge for a little ways. Okay. Again, this will probably be on my list of my 6-8 week positions. So watch for sedge in the solar market. The whole solar market is hot right now. Okay, this is just one. The next solar one is First Solar, FSLR. Got these buy markers that have come in recently. Now you can't see it on the daily, but over here at the 2-hour, you can see that it just peaked above this moving average up here. Okay, that's a positive bullish sign. We've got a lot of room from here up to about here. We got about 12-15% move to get up there. And if you look at some of these indicators, look at this. That is some serious upward direction right now. And if we look at the daily, again, it's early. You're not going to see a lot on the weekly. Over here's the weekly. But it might be early where you can kind of get in maybe on the ground floor and just let it go for a while. Okay, you might want to consider a 3 or 4 week expiration date if you're going to do the options on First Solar. This is just another solar stock that is hot right now. And the next one, solar, is TAN, T-A-N. Looks a lot like the First Solar setup. It's, if you look at the 2-hour, you'll see it hasn't quite peaked above this moving average yet. Okay, so you might want to wait a day or two on this one, but we have very strong indication. This shows really positive commitment and conviction on just another one of the solar stocks. And you can see over here in the weekly, it's early and it looks like things are rising. Okay, and it looks like it's been rising for a little while. It's gained about 20% in the last month. Okay, so keep an eye on all the solars. Another hot industry is real estate, mortgages, REITs, all of that, home building. I'm going to take a look at some. There's just a plethora of examples in this right now. This is probably the hottest sector right now. So this is CBRE. Lots of options on this one. Look at the solid bullish momentum. Look down here. I mean, just look at these. And these are just, you can't get any bullish than that. Everything's pointing up. Look at the weekly, same thing. Everything's lifting. It's been lifting for a while. So CBRE should be a real estate play for you. Another one is RKT, Rocket Mortgages. Look at this. Look at this action, okay? And it looks like it's just the momentum, the wind at our backs on the weekly. We just have solid direction going up. Obviously, mortgages, they Zillow, all. If you look at those stocks, they've been just got their butts handed to them this year because of the high interest rates and whatnot. But now that there's some indication and some promise of rate cuts, all of these, everything that's rate cut, everything that is interest rate sensitive, mortgages, banks, and whatnot, and small caps, everything's doing well because they're so sensitive to interest rates and borrowing. Okay, so keep an eye on Rocket, RKT. Okay, let's look at Z. This is Zillow. Look at this. Same, very similar. Okay, very solid upward direction all the way around. Even on the weekly, this thing is lifting. Okay, so Zillow has a lot to recover from. It's had a big crash. I know it did last year or so. So lots of room to fix on Zillow. And now we're going to take a look at LC. This is Lending Club. Again, look at this upward direction. All the indicators down here pointing up. We got very solid wind at our backs on the weekly. That's LC, Lending Club. All right, another one is SLG. This is another real estate group. I think it's a REIT. Very solid bullish momentum here. They might be running into a soft patch for this week for a few days. Okay, I don't know if I'd get into this tomorrow, but it's one you'll want to have on your watch list because this is a runner. This thing is moving. Okay, I do have a long-term position on this in my IRA, and we'll also take a look at VNO. I believe this is another real estate REIT. Again, look at this upward momentum and direction here. It's crystal clear. This thing is going to be moving up. I do have a IRA position in this one as well. And over here in the weekly, we have the same thing. This thing's rising. Okay. Let's move on to home builders. This is DHI. Pretty solid direction here. Congruency on the blue. Everything's pointing up. Over here on the weekly, solid wind at our backs here. I will consider a long-term position on this one as well. But, all of these stocks are ones that you can look at getting into this week. Okay. There's going to be times when I'm in a stock for 3 or 4 days, but I also have a long-term hold on it as well. So this is one of the large home builders. Another one is Toll Brothers, TOL. Solid direction, blue, pointing up, congruency everywhere. The weekly, another long-term potential here. So Toll should be on your list for home builder. And this is the home building sector, XHB. This is one of the spider sectors, and you can just see how it has just been going up like crazy. And I don't see any signs here that it's going to be slowing down. Again, this week could have some surprises, maybe week before New Year's. We could easily run into a soft patch. But I really think these are holds that you can hang on to going into February. Let's move into pharmaceuticals. This is AbbVie. Really solid movement here. Lots of blue, congruency, upward direction, pointing on just about all the indicators. Weekly looks very solid. Everything's blue, pointing up. This could be one. I'll probably get into this one for 6 or 8 weeks. But, it's ones that you can get into this week. I might wait to see if there's a little, it's a pharmaceutical, right? They're really volatile. Let this one pull back a little bit. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back and touch this moving average. But this should be on your list as one of the pharmaceutical companies that are going to be moving in Q1. I really like this one, CBay. It's not eBay, it's CBay, okay? But if you take a look at this, recently got this blue, these lines crossed over. These are all pointing upward, tight positions here. Just recently got this TSI marker. This stochastic's turning over. Dynamic money flow is pointing up. And over here on the weekly, it's just been lifting for a while. I mean, we've gone from 14 to 22 in 6 weeks or so, maybe 7 weeks. And just really solid direction here. Okay, so CBay is a good one. I will probably consider a February exit on this one as well. All right, let's move into travel. This is Alaska Airlines, ALK. It just poked above, and it has stayed above this moving average. You can see it over here on the 2-hour side, 2-hour pane, and it's been solid for a week. We've got blue here, blue here. Most of these look like they are pointing up. Okay, so a little bit of breakdown on this one, but what I really like about this one is it looks like the momentum is up. We're above this moving average. I think I would be comfortable getting into ALK for a little while. Now, if you look at the weekly, the signs are very clear, very strongly suggestive that it's not just going to roll over and dump on you. Okay, and that's important. That's just as important as finding something that's moving. You want to avoid the things that look like they're just ready to crash on you. And I don't see that right now with ALK. Okay, so I think this might be one to get into for travel. I also like the ETF JETS, JETS. I mean, this is just very solid. Blue congruency all the way down. I don't know if people are starting to plan on traveling, if it's a seasonal thing, but we've got very solid direction on the airlines right now. And if we look at the weekly, same thing here. So when you see the JETS ETF doing well, the big airlines are probably going to be doing well. In fact, let's look at Delta Airlines. Solid move, straight up. We just have straight up solid all around. We're above these moving averages. We've got strong wind at our backs with the weeklies. I mean, everything just looks solid upward right now for these airlines. Okay. All right, we got a lot of stocks in tech. I don't know if I'll cover all of them, but this is Lyft. Solid move here. This just looks like it's going in one direction right now. This is northeast, traveling northeasterly. Look at the weekly here, same thing, very solid bullish move on Lyft. And this might be one to hold for a few weeks as well. Let's look at CrowdStrike. Look at this move. Very solid, okay? Look at this weekly here, and it's just nonstop. I don't know how far this thing is going to go, but I don't see any indication that it's going to be stopping. Again, you could get into something this week and maybe get out next week after Christmas. This is also looks like something you could hold for 6-8 weeks. Another big stock is DocuSign. I mean, look at this bullish path here. Congruency blue, everything pointing upward all the way down. And over here on the weekly, same thing. I mean, these are just lifting. Okay, so DocuSign's another big one. Could hold for a few days, 6-8 weeks, easily. This has also been good, and I think it's gone under a lot of people's radar, is U. Okay, and they are, I believe, Unity Software. I don't know a lot about them. I don't really need to know a lot about them. I should know what their stock is doing. Well, look at that bullish momentum. Congruency blue, upward direction all the way down. Okay, and weekly, same thing. Very, very solid move on the weekly. It's been going up for a month. Been lifting up higher and higher. So keep an eye on you. Carvana, CVNA. Look at this. Look at this direction on Carvana. Another big, solid mover right now. Okay? This has been big, and I think it could go for a while. I'll probably have a longer term position on this one. Another big runner that popped recently is Enphase, ENPH. We got these buy markers that just showed up a couple of days ago, and we've got solid blue congruency all the way down. All these indicators are giving me recent signals and markers that this thing is moving up. And we are above this moving average. You can see it over here clearly on the 2-hour. But down here on the weekly, we've got solid. I've been saying that a lot tonight, but we just have a lot of stocks right now that are just moving up after that FOMC, and this is kind of a pivotal moment. It could go for a while. So plan on holding stuff for 4, 6, 8 weeks if you can. Enphase is one that you can look at for that. Okay, here's one. This is AMR. Recently popped. Metallurgical resources, so they're kind of more of an industrial. But just came down off of this moving average, or close to it, and popped up with recent buy signal on it. And we've got blue congruency indicators pointing up. We don't have these yet, but this is kind of early. But when you take a look at everything else right now, I would have no problem getting into this one. We'll probably have this turn green tomorrow, and MACD will be turning up soon. But we've had solid indication for over a month now on AMR, on the weekly. Okay? So if you want to diversify a little bit and not get too heavy in one sector, you can look at AMR. And I'll probably start wrapping it up. I don't want the video to be too long, but this is an energy stock, LPG. Recently got a buy signal on this. It did get above this moving average. We've got blue congruency indicators are pointing upward all the way down. I anticipate this one to follow suit. MACD bottomed. We've got this plus sign here, and we're starting to show some upward potential here. Okay, and if we look at the weekly, it's had some orange here, but again, we just had a week of downward movement on this one, but it looks like it's turning up again. Okay, so this is one I don't know if I'd hold this one for a few weeks, but I think for probably a week or so, this could be a good play. Okay, and I think I'll stop there. I don't want these videos to be too long. I try to keep them around 20 minutes. And I'm just trying to find stocks that I can get into today or tomorrow and hold for a few days. And as I do this, I'm seeing stocks that I am comfortable with holding for 6 or 8 weeks. I'm going to start looking at the February 16th expiration date. Okay. All right. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.